It's 20 minutes past 7 now. Finally, a little bit of tough talk from the Corrections Department CEO and the Minister, who are meeting today to discuss the raft of revelations about the privately run Mount Eden prison. Ray Smith is getting legal advice on the contract with Serco and the options available to him. National's former Corrections Minister Judith Collins joins me now. Judith, good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Along with, of course, Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, Annette King, who's in Wellington. Annette, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Brilliant to have you both here. Let's start by talking about corrections. Is Sam Lotu-Iiga doing a good job, do you think?
Well, look, let's start off by saying it's a really tough portfolio, and I acknowledge that, and I'm sure Judith would too. But I do think that Sam's out of his depth on this. I think he has been outmanoeuvred by his CEO, and he's certainly been outmanoeuvred by Serco. He hasn't been kept in the loop. He's been made to look as if he doesn't know what's going on, and the whole thing's out of control. So I really think that the Prime Minister's going to have to look again at who's running this portfolio because it's falling down.
You know, the thing, Judith, is, you know, sometimes Annette says things and I think, oh, is she right, isn't she right? Sometimes she says things and I think she isn't right. I listened to what she's just said. She's 100% right in everything she's just said.
Well, it's a really, really tough portfolio, and having held that as well as several other portfolios, I can tell you that is the one that I went to sleep at night with the phone by the bed with basically one eye open, because anything can happen in corrections.
It's a tough portfolio that needs tough management. 9,000
inmates, male and female, and they're not in prison because they didn't do the dishes last night. They're in prison primarily because of violent offences. It's a tough portfolio. And I would say that there are inquiries going on, and Sam Lotu-Iiga as the Minister will obviously get to the bottom of it. But I could say this too, it's not just in private prisons where things go wrong. Last week,
I'm sure you're
last
right.
week in the public prison, we had exactly the same, or very similar situation alleged. Someone was beaten up and hospitalised, as I recall, in Christchurch Men's Prison. So this happens. It's not acceptable.
Right, but here's the
totally
thing.
Unacceptable.
You just said, I'm sure Sam will get to the bottom of it. I have no confidence in Sam. Nice guy. No confidence that he will get to the bottom of it. He just isn't the right person, Annette, is he?
Look, he's a really nice guy, and I actually like him a lot, but I think this tough portfolio requires someone with a very strong focus on what they want to achieve. As Judith said, 9,000 prisoners, and they're in there for a very good reason. But once they're in there, then it is the duty of those who are guarding them to ensure that they are safe. You can't have this sort of thing going on, but I have to say, the reports of this aren't new. I mean, the problems in prisons do go on all the time, but you have to have a very focused minister, and Sam's just not on it.
No, you're absolutely right. And he's dealing with private enterprise, and they are running rings around him at the moment. And I think Ray Smith's running rings around him too. Can you smell that, Judith? Can you smell that? That's opportunity.
Oh, would you stop it, Paul?
I can definitely smell it. Can you smell it, Annette?
Oh, look, I can, and if the Prime Minister had any sense, he would be restructuring and reshuffling his cabinet, and he'd be bringing Judith back into it. He wants to, but he's just afraid that she might even get his job.
Oh, come on, that's just ridiculous.
Would you want it?
No, why would that be ridiculous?
Would you want corrections?
I'd want whatever the Prime Minister thinks is the right thing for me. So that's the way.
Okay, let me ask it a different way.
I say, when he first gave me corrections...
You're not too clever for me, Judith Collins.
No, when he first gave it to me, I thought, what the hell have I done wrong? I hadn't even been a minister.
Well, and there you are, Judith.
I ended up loving...
Those were the happy days.
And those were the happy days. But I can tell you, I loved the portfolio once I got into it. But it's a really hard one.
Would you want the Prime Minister to want it?
No, I'm just not even going to go there. It's up to the Prime Minister. And the fact is that I think we should wait and see what comes out in the facts, because it's very easy to make allegations. It's significantly more difficult to prove them.
Yeah,
but also say there's CCTV cameras everywhere. Yep.
What I can prove today is that Sam has been hung out to dry by the Corrections CEO and by Serco. There is absolutely no question that's happened. Would you agree?
Well, I think that he's going to get to the bottom of this.
All right. Let's talk Andrew Little for a moment.
Oh, yes, please.
Because I think it's been a terrible week for Labour and a terrible week for Andrew Little. The interesting thing, Judith, is that unlike many, I think that it was a very clever move, them bringing up this list of names, and I know that you particularly hated it for some very personal reasons, but I thought it was very clever politics, but they have not carried it off, and it has backfired on them, and largely I think it's done that because Andrew Little is out of his depth.
Absolutely out of his depth, and this week he got hit all around, verbally obviously, around the Parliament by the Prime Minister, who just, it was like watching a tennis game with someone at the net, and that's the Prime Minister. He was just whacking him all over the place, had him running all over the place, and in the end it was just sad. So Andrew Little, I'd say he's not going to be there longer.
It should be worrying you, Annette. I think it should be worrying you because this is a man who would want to be Prime Minister.
No, it's not worrying me at all, and I totally disagree with both of you that we've had a bad week. And can I just say this? Let's just wait and see what the polls say, whether we've had a bad week or not, because it's very easy to be
that's a dangerous thing to say.
Absolutely. It's very easy to be in a stand-up with Paddy yelling at you, and then put that on television as your main item.
It's our fault, Annette, is it? No, sorry.
No.
Sorry, let's just mark the wood.
Yes, well, let's mark the wood. I'm just saying that it's very easy to put up what you want to show in the media, but I saw the whole thing, and I also saw what happened in Parliament, and what you saw was the Prime Minister with a whole lot of barking seals behind him, clapping, cheering every word he said. Doesn't fool the public.
I don't know. It certainly fooled you guys because
Judith,
you guys were heads down, tails up, trying to hide. It was fantastic.
No, absolutely not. What I didn't see, Judith, was you barking and clapping when the Prime Minister was acting like a clown.
I would be refined about it. You know that.
You're both extraordinarily
refined. No, you're
refined.
being honest.
All right, Judith Collins, Annette King, thank you both very much for joining us. We will catch you back next week. Look forward to that.